I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before.
Presidential candidate Donald Trump there declaring victory, and the Associated Press has just projected the former president is the winner of the presidential election, defeating Kamala Harris, set to become now the 45th and 47th president of the United States. We're going to break down more on the results in about 2 minutes. First, though, it is 6 a.m. We say good morning to you, Kentuckiana. I'm Grace McKenna.
Eric King here. We have plenty of overnight election updates for you. First, we do want to start there with weather. You see the radar moving behind us. Sam Gabrielli with us as always. Sam, give us a good kickoff to the day with what we can expect.
Yeah, guys, we're just going to be watching some routine rain showers move through. No severe weather, no flooding risk going on. Just some rainfall as we get our morning started. I just want to mention, of course, most of the rain this morning will be scattered to widespread. As we hit about noon and beyond, it's going to be a little more isolated in nature. So a quick look at Max HG radar. The rainfall kind of slicing us right now in a southwest to northeast coordinate, so we're expecting the rain heaviest right now over I-71 in northern portions of Kentucky. New Albany to Prospect right now, dealing with some good scattered showers. Anchorage to Fern Creek included, even New Salisbury in southern Indiana. Notice the pockets of red and yellows and oranges going on here. That's some brief heavy downpours over Hardinsburg and Irvington, and that's also where we're projected to see easily about an inch of rain in the forecast over Breckenridge, Meade County, and Grayson counties. So there's Futurecast as we get you through the rest of the morning hours. Notice by about noon or so, most of the rainfall will be kind of coming to a close and mainly impacting our far eastern communities. By about 4 o'clock, we're going to be seeing a couple of pockets of sunshine in the forecast. So most of our rainfall this morning will be wrapping up as we get into about 11 a.m. and beyond. So more rainfall is going to be in the forecast tonight and tomorrow morning. I'm also talking about some more rainfall this weekend, if you can believe it. And some of that rain could be pretty heavy. I'll be talking more about that in detail in a few minutes. The only crash we're tracking is impacting the left shoulder of travel as you make your way eastbound on the Waterson Expressway at Bells Lane this morning. You can see it's going to be a little slow going as you make your way on the Waterson Expressway anywhere from I-264 going eastbound towards the west side of Louisville.
I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
Donald Trump there speaking to supporters overnight in Florida. And now, just in the last 30 minutes or so, the AP has projected the former president will win this presidential election against Vice President Kamala Harris. The win was declared, like I said, in the last 30 minutes, Trump securing Wisconsin to give him 277 electoral votes. 270 is what is needed to win the election. Vice President Kamala Harris sits at 224. So here are the three other big things that we are watching as we head into today. Votes are still being counted in Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, and Alaska. These are not likely to change the course of the projected results, which is why the Associated Press has now made that official announcement. But we could see the electoral count for Vice President Harris go up. She didn't speak overnight, but her campaign did say she would speak today at her alma mater, Howard University.
So Republicans have gained control of the U.S. Senate by flipping at least 2 key states, unseating Democrats in West Virginia and Ohio, and successfully defending their incumbent seats. In West Virginia, Republican Governor Jim Justice took the seat vacated by Senator Joe Manchin. In Ohio, businessman Bernie Moreno unseated 3-term Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown. Now, with these wins, the Republicans are looking at a 51-seat majority in the Senate.
Here in Kentucky, one of the 2 proposed amendments to the state constitution did pass. Amendment 1 will add language prohibiting non-U.S. citizens from voting. Secretary of State Michael Adams has already said that's not something that was happening, but he felt it was important to clarify the language to keep it from ever happening. Now, the other proposed amendment on the ballot did fail to pass.
Yeah, so Jim Stratman's here to break that down. We're talking about Amendment 2. This was really a big driver to the polls here in Kentucky.
I mean, you've been seeing ads for Amendment 2 for weeks and months at this point. It was, as you mentioned, a big driver for people here in Kentucky going to the polls, and it was answered, and really answered pretty clearly when you take a look at the results behind me. 65% of Kentuckians saying no on Amendment 2. That's about 1.2 million votes, close to 1.3 million votes against that proposed amendment. Now, the Associated Press called that race just before 8:30 last night. Amendment 2 would have allowed lawmakers to direct public funds to private schools. And this could have paved the way for funding voucher programs or charter schools. Louisville's GOP, which supported the amendment, says the amendment's failure stems from fear that this would bankrupt the public school system. But opponents of the measure say this was never a popular idea, and this vote just solidified that.
It's a tragedy for our kids, honestly. For our parents to be able to have a choice in the schools that they go to and to be able to get the different education components that they need.
I have heard plenty of times that our public schools are not meeting the needs of our students. I have heard plenty of times that we need to do more to increase opportunity for every student. But you know what I have never heard? That the answer to that is a voucher program.
Moving forward, because of the amendment's failure, public funds will stay with public schools. Now, there's no word yet on if the GOP will continue to push this measure moving forward. Eric, Grace?
Thank you so much. And the GOP will maintain its supermajority in the Kentucky General Assembly. All 100 seats were up for grabs this election cycle in the Kentucky House. In Louisville, Ken Fleming held on to his seat in a tight race, narrowly beating Kate Farrow with 51% of the vote. Former JCPS bus union president John Stovall lost his challenge for Emily Calloway's seat in House District 37. Calloway took 56% of the vote. Rachel Rourke's won House District 38 with almost 51% of the vote. The incumbent was defending her seat against Republican and special education teacher Carrie McKeon. And Democrat Morgan McGarvey defeated Republican Mike Craven. It'll be his second term in the U.S. House representing Kentucky.
The election also impacted half of the state's Senate seats. In districts around Louisville, several candidates ran unopposed. Those included Democrats Cassie Chambers Armstrong from District 19, Gerald Neal for District 33, and Keturah Herron for District 35. Democrat David Yates won another term with 60% of the vote against Republican candidate Calvin Leach. Yates currently serves as the Senate's minority whip.
Turning to Indiana, Republican U.S. Senator Mike Braun will take over the governor's seat there. Braun defeated Democrat Jennifer McCormick and Libertarian Donald Rainwater and will replace outgoing Republican Governor Eric Holcomb, who's term limited. We're going to take you to Braun's election night celebration in the next half hour of GMK. And we do have all of your election results, including Metro Council, the Jefferson County School Board races, on our homepage. Make sure you check that out as you wake up this morning.
Coming up on 10 after the hour, we do have some other news of the day. And new this morning, Metro Police are investigating after a boy was shot in the Shawnee neighborhood. Officers were called to 41st and Market Streets just after 10 last night for a shooting. They found a juvenile inside a home with a gunshot wound to his jaw. He was taken to a local hospital and is expected to survive. But if you have any information here, you're urged to call the LMPD tip line at 574 LMPD.
The suspect in a deadly shooting in Shively is expected in court for the first time today. 61-year-old Robert Gill is charged with reckless homicide. He's accused of shooting another man at a speedway on Dixie Highway close to the I-264 ramp. Police say that man later died at the hospital. Gill is due in court at 9 this morning.
And something that may have gotten lost in all of the election reporting yesterday, a new ruling in the Crystal Rogers case. Steve Lawson will be tried separately from his son. We learned about that decision from Nelson County Circuit Court Judge Charles Sims yesterday. Meanwhile, Joseph Lawson and Brooks Houck, which is Rogers' ex-boyfriend, will be tried together. Houck is charged with murder, while the Lawsons are charged with conspiracy to commit murder. All three are charged with tampering with physical evidence. Now, Steve Lawson's trial is scheduled for February 10th. Houck and Joseph Lawson will find out their trial date on December 5th.
Sam, coming over to you. It's one thing we need to know.
We're watching some scattered rain showers moving through. Nothing severe and no flooding underway. Just some good steady showers as we get our morning started. I do want to mention, too, most of this rainfall this morning is going to be coming to a close and kind of turning more isolated as we get you into the afternoon hours today. I'm going to be talking more in detail about some drier conditions tomorrow and especially on Friday coming up.
All right, Sam, thank you. Up next, some Jefferson County voters had a long wait at the polls, the tech problems plaguing Election Day, and the impact of those delays.
And the latest lottery numbers, Mega Millions at $334 million, Powerball $75 million.
The Kentucky Lottery. Over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
12 minutes after the hour, and if you were just joining us, there is a major update in the presidential race this morning. That race appearing to be over. The Associated Press is projecting Donald Trump will win the White House. It was Wisconsin that put him over the edge with 277 electoral college votes. 270 is what you need to win. Votes are still outstanding in a number of battleground states, but those are unlikely to change the course of this election.
But as a matter of procedure, the process must continue. That's why votes are still being counted in Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, and Alaska this morning. And that could change the electoral vote tally for Vice President Harris, but not necessarily the outcome of the election. She did not speak overnight, but her campaign did say that she would speak at some point today. So we'll keep you posted with updates on her plans and also the exact electoral college count throughout the morning here on GMK and, of course, throughout the day here on WHAS 11 and WHAS11.com.
Yeah, big day ahead. Now, if you did vote in Louisville yesterday, you may have found yourself in long, frustrating lines. That was because of a computer meltdown, putting things on hold until about 10 a.m.
Yeah, a move to keep those polls open later was denied. WHAS 11's Ian Hardwick explains.
Voters lined up out the door at polls across Jefferson County. Anitra Beatty waited 2.5 hours at the Stephen Foster Traditional Academy polling spot on 41st Street in West Louisville.
A lot of people are becoming disgruntled. Few people are leaving, and we don't need that.
She voted in the afternoon after the Jefferson County Clerk's office had resolved their issue with check-in tablets crashing. In a statement, the Kentucky Secretary of State's office said, quote, "There was no software issue in Jefferson County, and the problem appears to be that insufficient time was allowed for the e-poll books to download the names of voters who had already cast their ballots." So we asked a spokesperson for the clerk's office.
Could the machines have been fired up earlier in the day so they could have had a head start on those 113,000?
I don't think that that's something we could have done.
Republican Metro Councilman Anthony Piagentini said the 2-hour poll extension the Kentucky Democratic Party requested was too much.
By the afternoon, that had been remedied, and at the end of the day, I think people had the opportunity to come back and get their voice heard through the ballot box.
The leader of Black Lives Matter Louisville, Chanel Helms, said even more people should vote early next time to avoid Election Day issues.
People are very emotional, and I really wish we could have got the extension, but I'm kind of glad that people were really turning out and very passionate about the race.
Ian Hardwick, WHAS 11, on your side.
Secretary of State Michael Adams says he plans to work with local election officials and lawmakers to make sure this doesn't happen again. We do have a full rundown of state and local election results on our website. You'll find them on the homepage at WHAS11.com and in our news app.
It is 6:15. The election can be stressful for a lot of people, so we did want to give you some reminders on how to cope. Experts say focus on what you can control and positive actions that you can take. You can set boundaries, whether it's stepping away from political conversations or just logging off of social media. And beware of disinformation. Educate yourselves about the facts and rely on credible sources.
So this is kind of funny. Thailand's baby hippo Mu Dang put in her prediction for the next American president. Zookeepers presented her with 2 fruit baskets, each with the names of the presidential candidates, and Mu Dang did choose the basket with Trump on it. They were filled with dragon fruit and watermelon for her. So this, of course, was like before, guys, the election actually happened. So kind of the Thailand Mu Dang version of... I'm trying to think of the groundhog's name.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Oh, yeah.
And we put that story in because obviously it's the election is polarizing for a lot of people, but there's still some things to find to chuckle at and laugh at and have an interest in. And so that's enough said there. Sam, weather-wise, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly, guys. Some rain moving through this morning. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Hey, on the bright side, too, no severe weather today and no flooding. We're just watching some routine showers drifting through. It'll be a morning for sure to make sure the umbrella's packed with you as you step out the door, maybe the rain boots, getting your day started. As we speak, we are talking about some routine showers moving through from northeast to southwest or where they're placed right now. Notice over Louisville, there's kind of a brief little break in the rainfall. Right over the metro, we're actually seeing a brief brief little dry slot over Shively, Pleasure Ridge Park, Fairdale included, St. Matt's all the way towards the east end of town, Prospect towards Floyd's Knobs, also seeing some rainfall. As we make our way southwest of Louisville, from Fort Knox to Irvington, Hardinsburg, and Radcliffe, we're watching some more additional showers. These, again, not severe, but they're producing some brief, heavy pockets of downpours with them, and we're also tracking some additional showers draped anywhere from Carroll County towards Henry County, Owenton, and then again towards the LaGrange area. So again, this band of rain is going to continue to really just stick around and gradually march its way eastbound as we get our morning rolling. And a quick look out the door towards downtown Louisville, we're seeing a healthy spread of temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, getting our morning started. So staying off pretty mild to get the kickstart to the day. And notice east of our area, there's a pocket of much warmer air. Temperatures nearing 70 from Campbellsville all the way to Springfield, some low 60s to the north right now, anywhere from Bedford to Seymour and points north of there. So again, the forecast, a few areas of sun could be possible around early afternoon today. All in all, we're going to be just generally noticing the rain showers really coming to a close by about late morning or so, probably around 10 or 11 a.m. So again, it's going to be a rainy commute, so take note of that. Some ponding of water on the roads is in the forecast. We're going to be seeing some additional little pockets of rain right around noon, and just in time for post-lunch hour and heading into the mid-afternoon, we're going to be seeing some times of sunshine, quieter conditions, but some more pockets of rainfall developing overnight tonight and extending into Thursday morning during the course of Good Morning Kentuckiana. Really shouldn't be too big of a deal. And one more little dry slot as we get you into about late morning tomorrow and midday. Otherwise, it'll be a quiet day on Thursday and heading into Friday as well. One area of the world, though, that's not quiet. Unfortunately, we have Hurricane Rafael right now in the western Caribbean Sea. Rafael is going to be inching his way into the Gulf of Mexico with winds sustained of about 100 miles an hour during the day on Friday. So unfortunately, Rafael will be impacting a lot of our friends in the Gulf of Mexico. But as far as we're concerned locally, we're still in the weather impact alert day for the morning hours today. Seeing some pockets of sun into Friday and some of the day on Thursday. Some steady rainfall redeveloping Saturday night into Sunday. Right now, there's a crash actually at Bells Lane. This is actually going eastbound on the Waterston Expressway and towards the west, and of course towards Bells Lane. That's more due southbound than eastbound. So it's looking to be blocking that left shoulder of travel. It'll be a bit slow going as you make your way towards Shively and Pleasure Ridge Park this morning.
All right, Sam, thank you. The first college football playoff rankings, well, they're out. We're going to tell you about the team we know well making the top 10.
Also, a 2.5-year probe into Ford has come to an end. The recent investigators are no longer looking into the car maker's engine failures. If you are just joining us, some big updates in the race for the White House. The Associated Press is projecting Donald Trump will win the presidential election and is the president-elect of the United States. It was Wisconsin that put him over the edge with 277 electoral college votes. That is higher than what he needed to win. That was 270. Votes are still outstanding in a number of battleground states, but those states are unlikely to change the course of the election. So as those results continue to come in, we'll update you. We'll continue to update you on air and online and on the free WHAS11 app.
All right, at 6:23, some big sports news now. The Indiana Hoosiers are officially part of the college football playoff conversation, coming in 8th in the committee's first set of rankings. If the 9-0 Hoosiers stay within the top 12 teams in the CFP poll by the end of the season, they'll be in the college football playoff. It's the highest ranking ever for Indiana, which made its only other appearance in the CFP rankings in 2020, finishing 11th. The AP number 8 Hoosiers host Michigan this Saturday at 3:30.
Federal investigators are ending a 2.5-year probe into engine failures in some Ford vehicles. U.S. auto safety regulators say Ford has replaced engines or extended the warranties of the vehicles affected. The investigation included Ford and Lincoln SUVs and pickup trucks that had a potential engine defect that caused the vehicles to lose power. The probe covered more than 411,000 vehicles from the 2021 and 2022 model years. Earlier this year, Ford recalled about 91,000 vehicles with valves made during the suspect period. Talking about Michael, you made may not have known, I certainly didn't, that there's a biopic about his life. Well, that picture has been delayed. It's called Michael. It's going to hit movie theaters on October 3rd of 2025. That's according to The Hollywood Reporter. That film was originally slated to hit cinemas in April 18th to be exact. It's said to show the singer's public and private struggles, plus his human side. Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson, is set to star as the late legendary music icon. Coleman Domingo, Miles Teller are also set to appear in the film.
History was made this election cycle. For the first time, 2 black women will serve in the U.S. Senate at the same time. The win includes Delaware's Representative Lisa Blunt and Angela also Brooks from Maryland. The White House said President Joe Biden called both women and congratulated them on their victories. Before this, there have been 3 black female senators in U.S. history, but none have served concurrently. A very cool time to be alive, to get to experience something like that.
We should point out, too, historically, those 2 women were elected to the Senate on the anniversary of Shirley Chisholm being elected to the Senate as the first black woman to be elected into the U.S. Senate. So a little bit of symmetry there.
History and its invisible threads. It's very cool. Sam, coming over to you for a look at our weather.
Super cool seeing that. This morning, we're actually picking up some rain showers moving through west to east, and no severe weather. We don't have any flooding going on, too, which is some good news. But notice southwest of Louisville, from Pleasure Ridge Park to Elizabeth and Valley Station, there's a pocket of heavier rainfall there. I'm actually talking in great detail about a drier trend tomorrow and Friday coming up.
All right, Sam, thank you. Indiana has a new governor-elect in Senator Mike Braun. The message he has for those who didn't think he could win.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite, and we're going to try.
It is victory for Donald Trump. If you are just waking up with us, the Associated Press has called the presidential race for Donald Trump, making him the president-elect of the United States. Overnight, he secured wins in 2 key battleground states. Those are Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. That gave him 277 electoral votes, which is well over the 270 needed to secure the presidency. We're going to break down more of what's to come today in just about 2 minutes. First, the pleasantries. Good morning. Eric King here alongside Grace McKenna.
Yeah, and meteorologist Sam Gabrielli, who we're glad is joining us here this morning to let folks know about this rain we see on the radar behind you.
Yeah, the rain coming down last night and early this morning. Mother Nature kind of plopped the rainfall on us after the election, of course, yesterday. So that did not impact, of course, voting yesterday. It was a gorgeous day yesterday to get out and enjoy. We're watching some scattered to widespread showers on Max HD radar, something we're not quite used to as of late. It's been a very dry past couple of weeks and months lately here in Louisville and the remainder of central Kentucky and southern Indiana. And waking up this morning, we have a pocket of heavier bouts of rain across much of western and southwestern Jefferson County, Valley Station to Shively and New Albany. As we make our way as well down to the south and west of Jefferson County, right over I-65 and points just west of there, Litchfield to Hardinsburg, Fort Knox, Radcliffe, also seeing some additional showers, and up to the north and east of us. I-71 as you check your way towards Cincinnati, it'll be a rainy start to your morning from Bedford in Kentucky towards Newcastle and LaGrange to get your morning started. So we're still continuing to watch the rainfall impact us throughout much of the morning. Notice by about 8 in the morning today, scattered showers will be persisting for much of Louisville and points east of our area, and closer to about 11 a.m. this morning. Some of these showers will be kind of coming to a close, and we are going to be guided on by drying trend taking over this afternoon and then again tomorrow afternoon. So a couple more pockets of showers possible tonight and tomorrow morning after we deal with this morning's rainfall. And I'm also talking about some additional showers into Saturday night and Sunday. The full forecast coming up. When it comes to your traffic report in the city, I want to bring you towards one crash. It's actually blocking the left shoulder of travel as you make your way towards Bells Lane going eastbound on the Watterson Expressway. We have one more crash as well at Poplar Level Road and Fern Valley Road this morning, likely bringing some delays there as well.
Sam, thank you. We're following some news just into our newsroom this morning. The Associated Press is now calling the presidency for Donald Trump. That win declared about an hour ago after Trump secured Wisconsin. That gave the former president 277 electoral votes, which is more than the 270 that a presidential candidate needs to win the election. Vice President Kamala Harris sits at 224. Looking ahead to today, votes are still being counted in Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, and Alaska. Those are not likely to change the course of the projected results, which is why the Associated Press is making that call. Harris did not speak overnight, but her campaign did say she would speak today at her alma mater, Howard University. No word on what time we'll hear from her just yet. We will keep you updated on WHAS11.com and in our news app.
So here in the Commonwealth, Kentuckians voted on 2 proposed constitutional amendments.
And we know that this was a huge driver to the polls over the past week, a huge driver of ads. So we're turning to all of that now. Jim Stratman joining us in the studio for more on this.
Yeah, Grace and Eric, 2 amendments. It's not usual that we get 2 amendments on a ballot like this. It was a big driver, as you said. You throw that on a presidential ballot and you're going to see quite a bit of turnout as well. And we had a little bit of an indicator as to how this could go as we got closer to Election Day. But now as the polls finally close, we can say definitively Amendment 2 fails. Amendment 1 passes, and we'll start with the one that passed there. Amendment 1 added a line to the Kentucky State Constitution that reads, "No person who is not a citizen of the United States shall be allowed to vote in this state." Now, Secretary of State Michael Adams has already testified that this is not happening in Kentucky, but 62% of Kentuckians felt that adding some more clarity to the Constitution was necessary. On the flip side, nearly 65% of Kentuckians voted no on Amendment 2. Now, that would have allowed public funds to go to private schools. Christy Mudd is a teacher at Jefferson County, and she saw the votes roll in last night at a watch party in Nulu.
It just really shows that we truly are supported. Our communities do support public schools, and they are advocates for public education.
Supporters of Amendment 2 say that they're not done fighting this change. Louisville's GOP, which supported the amendment, says its failure stems from a fear that this change would bankrupt the public school system. So they plan on changing the messaging around this amendment going forward. So to recap here, Amendment 1 passed, adding the line about non-U.S. citizens not being able to vote here in Kentucky. Amendment 2 fails, keeping public funding going to public schools. Eric, Grace?
It has been truly my honor to represent all of you on the campaign trail.
That's an emotional Jennifer McCormick there during her concession speech last night. The Democrat lost the race for Indiana governor to Republican Senator Mike Braun. According to the AP, Braun won with 54.4% of the state's vote. Republicans have held the governor's office in Indiana since 2005. WHAS11's Alex Dieter and photojournalist Jessica Farley were in Indianapolis for Braun's victory speech.
We're going to take Indiana to places we've never seen before.
Speech from the next governor of Indiana, Mike Braun, given to a room full of Indiana GOPs in downtown Indianapolis. Just after 7 on election night, in an early call by the Associated Press, the Indiana GOP watch party in Indianapolis celebrated.
The referee called it. I'm going to say in the 3rd round.
The first-term U.S. Senator beat out challengers Jennifer McCormick, the former Republican superintendent turned Democrat, and Libertarian Donald Rainwater.
And really, I can't wait to hit the ground running, taking this state to a place where they put us with Texas, Florida, Tennessee.
Braun and his now Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith will continue the 20-year Republican stronghold on the state.
I'm going to do it in an understated way. I'm going to overperform and deliver results, and you can count on that when I hit the ground running.
As for what's next for Mike Braun, he said that he's looking forward to taking 3 days off. In Indianapolis with photojournalist Jessica Farley, Alex Dieter, WHAS11 on your side.
And U.S. Republican Representative Jim Banks will replace the governor-elect as senator. Braun gave up his Senate seat to run for governor, or to become governor now, and Banks defeated Democrat Valerie McRae, keeping the seat red in the Senate. And Indiana House of Representatives District 71 incumbent Wendy Dant Chesser will keep her seat, beating challenger Scott Hawkins. The district covers Clarksville, Jeffersonville, and parts of Floyd County. Dant Chesser attacked Hawkins in multiple campaign ads for accepting donations from former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll, who's now in jail for fraud.
For a while now, Republicans have been looking to make gains in Louisville on the Metro Council, and they appear to have done just that. The party picked up at least 3 seats and kept the ones they already had. Democrat Cindy Fowler lost her District 14 seat to Crystal Bass with 52% of the vote, and longtime Metro Council member Rick Blackwell lost his seat to Republican Jonathan Joseph by less than 100 votes. Blackwell was one of the original Metro Council members first elected in 2004. And Republican Jenny Mulvey Woolridge, defeated Tyra Thomas Walker, taking outgoing Democrat Madonna Flood's seat, also someone who has been on the council for a very long time. Republican Representative Kevin Bratcher is giving up his seat in the State House and will join the Metro Council. He defeated Rashawn Crawley with 61% of the vote. And in a tight race, Republican Scott Reed will keep his seat on the council. Democrat Matthew Golden challenged Reed for the Northeast Jefferson County seat.
We have an entire election recap on the WHAS11.com homepage. You can also stay up to date in the WHAS11 app. You can download that wherever you get your apps.
Louisville's Metro Office of Planning is showing off its ideas for the Reimagine 9th Street project. That project is meant to connect downtown and West Louisville. Now, the Office of Planning wants your feedback on 2 proposed designs before plans are finalized. Today's meeting is at Central High School. It starts at 4 p.m.
All right, Sam, coming over to you. What is one thing we need to know?
Yeah, we're still watching some scattered to widespread showers drifting through much of our area. We're not going to be watching flooding or severe weather. Just know that some of these showers could be producing some brief heavy downpours with them as you pass by to get your morning started. But the main focus for the heavier pockets of rain are just south of Prospect, making your way towards Valley Station, Shively, and right along Dixie Highway this morning. I'm actually going to be talking more about a drying trend taking shape this afternoon, tomorrow, and then again Friday coming up.
All right, Sam, thank you. Up next, a local coffee chain is already ready for the holidays. The festive flavors coming to Heine Brothers.
Plus, the balance of power in the House is still up in the air. Republicans have taken control of the Senate. We do know that. We're going to look at the states that flipped and went red.
The Mega Millions, $334 million. The Powerball, $75 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
6:42. If you're just joining us, a major update in the race for the White House. The Associated Press is projecting former President Donald Trump will win his bid for re-election. Wisconsin put him over the edge with 277 Electoral College votes. 270 is what a candidate needs to win. Votes are still outstanding in a few battleground states, but those are unlikely to change the course of the election. We are waiting, though, for the final tally for Vice President Kamala Harris, and as we get those results, we'll update you on air and online. As those final votes are being counted from Election Day, markets are surging overnight. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all poised to jump at the opening bell, with futures trading up well over 1%. Investors are also keeping an eye on the Fed as its latest 2-day meeting starts up today. It's widely expected to cut interest rates again tomorrow. And yet another election story that we are following this morning, Republicans taking the Senate. The House, as of this morning, is still in play.
Yeah, so several states also had abortion laws on the ballots. ABC's Andrew Fuji, he has those results.
Overnight, Republicans seizing control of the Senate, securing a conservative majority for the first time in 4 years. Republicans flipping multiple seats in key states.
Tonight I'm sad, but I'm never giving up.
A critical race that helped Ohio, where Trump-backed Republican Bernie Moreno flipped the Democratic seat held by 4-term Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown.
So President Trump, if you're watching, thank you. Thank you for being decisive in my primary. Thank you for being the greatest president of my generation.
With 52 Republicans in the Senate, Trump will have a chance to push through even controversial cabinet members.
And if you assume that Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski might not be amenable to some of the choices a new President Trump might make for his cabinet, 51 would have been a potential problem. 52, even if he loses both of them, he gets to 50, and J.D. Vance can break the tie.
Still, Democrats did manage to hold on to a few contested seats. Virginia's Democratic Senator Tim Kaine will keep his seat, while California Representative Adam Schiff, a staunch anti-Donald Trumper, won in a special election. It comes as all 435 seats are up for grabs in the Republican-controlled House. Democrats need just 4 seats to flip the House. Meanwhile, another big issue for voters, abortion.
I have 3 daughters, and they will have children, I think,
someday, and I fear for what may happen to them.
This is my first time voting. What really attracted me to Donald Trump is I'm a Christian, and he really aligns with a lot of my values.
Florida has voted to keep its 6-week abortion ban in place, failing to get the 60% needed to extend abortion rights. It's one of 10 states voting on abortion measures. Arizona, a historically conservative state, has approved its ballot initiative to cement abortions into their state constitution. Abortion was illegal there after 15 weeks. It will now be protected to the point of viability, which is between 22 and 24 weeks.
Maryland, Missouri, Colorado, Nevada, and New York also adding abortion to their state's constitution. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
6:45 here at home, the Jefferson County School Board races have been decided. In District 1, the Board of Education swore in Gail Logan Strange to represent the district after Diane Porter stepped down. Now in District 4, Trevin Bass just barely defeated Barbara Lewis 51 to 49%. In District 2, Tricia Francis Lister was sworn in. She ran unopposed. We'll, of course, as you expect of us, keep you updated on the latest election results on our website, WHAS11.com, and on our app.
New this morning, Heine Brothers is already getting in the holiday spirit. The local coffee chain is launching its holiday menu on Friday and dropping 3 new flavors this season. It'll offer a snickerdoodle cold brew, sugar cookie latte, and peppermint mocha. The first 12 people in line on Friday will get a free gift box with Heine Brothers Holly Jolly Java blend and a holiday mug. Don't laugh.
No, it's just impossible to say. Like, I tried to see if you would mess it up when you would say it, and you didn't. But that is a mouthful. Like, I want to be I don't want to be the person in the drive-through behind that person trying to order that.
Absolutely not. So they do open up at 6 o'clock Friday morning. I think I might say I have to make a stop there right around 7:02.
Perfect. Yeah, and here's the thing. I like pumpkin spice. I don't mind it. But, I mean, pumpkin or peppermint and all the Christmas-themed drinks are just, they're in their own world, guys. They're that special. Here's actually a quick look out the door. We are noticing some steady rain showers underway in the city. It's going to be a little bit of a rainy morning commute for a lot of us. Ponding of water on the roads is going to be likely. I do want to stress, though, we're not looking at severe weather, and we could rule out flooding. It's good news. So we're looking at some steady to heavy pockets of rain over Buchel, Okolona, Fairdale, and towards the east end of Jefferson County. All in all, not a bad morning to get out. Of course, get your workday started. As again, we're really not seeing much in the way of thunder with this activity. More just in the form of some steady rainfall. Radcliffe, Shepherdsville, Taylorsville, all seeing some more rainfall. And again, the Bluegrass and Western Kentucky parkways are going to be a bit wet here pretty soon. Sonora, you're already noticing some rainfall for your neck of the woods. And we're going to take you up to the northeast where Bedford, Kentucky, all the way to Carrollton, Madison, Indiana, all seeing some scattered showers as they're going to continue to roll their way eastbound as we get the morning rolling. So here's actually a quick look at Max HD radar. And again, just a swath of rain anywhere from Cleveland, Ohio, back down towards Nashville. So we're not the only ones dealing with this pocket of rain. And take a look, too, some pretty impressive tallies coming in since midnight. Almost a half an inch so far at Ali International. Corden coming in at 1.51 inches of the rain since midnight. And a quick look out the door. 67 at Ali International. We do have plenty of readings in the 60s today. We're not going to do much warming, and we can thank the amount of clouds for keeping temperatures kind of held in check as we get into the afternoon today. So reaching a grand total of 71 degrees. And notice the chances for rainfall kind of diminish hour by hour. As we get you closer to about 10 or 11 this morning, we're going to go from essentially about a 70% chance of the rain this morning to essentially about 30 to 20% chance beginning at noon and going into the afternoon today. So Futurecasts continue to show these chances for rainfall persisting throughout the course of our morning hours. And right around noon, another pocket of more showers moving through Metro Louisville, giving way to drying trend taking shape as we get closer to about mid-afternoon today. Later tonight and extending into tomorrow morning, there will be some additional pockets of rainfall. Again, nothing severe, but some of these areas of rain could be a little hefty with their totals as we open up our Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon. More drying expected. The chance for rainfall Thursday morning and through the midday hours will be down to the south. A quick look, too, at the tropics. I want to reiterate, we're still watching Hurricane Rafael, who's rolling through much of the Gulf Gulf of Mexico. We're going to be watching this hurricane very closely. Right now, the track of it brings it into the western Gulf by Friday. So that may be affecting the area of Texas as we get into the weekend. So something we're watching very closely. The next shot of some decent rain here locally will not be until about Saturday night and Sunday. About a 60% chance of steady rainfall at that time. We're going to bring it towards the roads real quick. I want to briefly mention all lanes are blocked at Bells Lane going eastbound on the Waterson Expressway. I can see there's a lot of vehicles there stopped. So it's going to be slow going as you make your way going eastbound there on the Waterson Expressway. And one crash as well, Popple Level Road at Fern Valley Road.
Sam, thank you. Today's top stories as you rush out the door coming up in 3 minutes.
You're watching GMK.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite, and we're going to try.
It's our top story today. The Associated Press has projected former President Donald Trump has won the presidency with 277 electoral votes. Votes are still being counted, though, in a few battleground states, which are unlikely to change the course of the election. But we are waiting for a final tally on electoral votes for Vice President Kamala Harris. Here are the three things we're watching heading into this morning. The final tallies for Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, and Alaska, and where those electoral votes will go. Harris did not speak overnight, but her campaign did say she would speak today at her alma mater, Howard University. No time set for that just yet.
Republicans have gained control of the U.S. Senate by flipping at least 2 key states, unseating Democrats in West Virginia and Ohio, and successfully defending incumbent seats. In West Virginia, Republican Governor Tim Justice took the seat vacated by Senator Joe Manchin. In Ohio, businessman Bernie Moreno unseated 3-term Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown.
And a proposed amendment to the Kentucky Constitution has passed. Amendment 1 will add language firmly prohibiting non-U.S. citizens from voting in the Kentucky elections. However, Kentuckians resoundingly denied Amendment 2, with 65% of you voting no. Amendment 2 would have opened the door for lawmakers to direct public funds to private schools, and that paved the way, or could have paved the way, for funding for voucher programs or charter schools.
And Republican U.S. Senator Mike Braun will take over the governor's seat in Indiana. Braun defeated Democrat Jennifer McCormick and Libertarian Donald Rainwater. He replaces outgoing Republican Governor Eric Holcomb, who is term limited. You can review all of the election results in Kentucky and Indiana and across the country at WHAS11.com and on our news app.
And it's a rainy morning for Kentucky, and we're actually picking up a good solid amount of green going on our current radar. The rainfall's moving through from west to east, and we're not watching flooding or severe weather. Just know that some of these pockets of heavier rain from Anchorage all the way up towards Crestwood this morning are making for some brief heavy downpours. As you get out the door to get your morning started, the umbrella probably a good idea on this Wednesday morning. Of course, the nice thing is, though, of course, this rain happening right after the election. So yesterday did not impact us, of course, to get out to the polls yesterday. Now, here's a quick look as well. Regionally, we're not the only ones dealing with this band of rainfall, as we're seeing the rain anywhere from Cleveland, Ohio, all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. Temperatures on the map, 66 downtown. Fern Creek at 65 degrees. We're only going to be rising to 71 for the grand total this afternoon. So futurecasts continuing to show the chance for rainfall as we get you into much of the morning and midday hours, and giving way to a drying trend for today, this afternoon, and then again tomorrow afternoon. Our 7-day forecast more in detail, more chances for rain into the weekend. A quick look at the roads. We have a couple of crashes to tend to, one of them at Bells Lane going eastbound on the Waterson Expressway. All lanes are now blocked actually there, so it's going to be a bit slow going.
All right, thank you, Sam, and thank you all for joining us this morning.
Have a great morning, everybody.
Good morning, America. Red wave powers Donald Trump back to the White House. Breaking news. Donald Trump completes his improbable political comeback. The president-elect once again.
This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time.
After 4 years away from the White House, the former president leads a red wave in a contentious campaign. A presidential election like no other in our history, addressing a fired-up crowd of supporters in Florida overnight.
At 78 years old, after 2 assassination attempts, 2 impeachments, indictments, and a felony conviction, Donald Trump will reascend to the highest office in the land as the oldest person in U.S. history elected president.
We also goals that nobody thought possible.
This morning, after his decisive victory over Vice President Kamala Harris, flipping back Georgia, breaking the blue wall, now pledging to unite the country.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. Success will bring us together.
His plan for round 2 in the Oval Office, from his agenda on immigration and the economy to the Supreme Court. Republicans also score a big win in the fight for Congress, flipping the Senate. This morning, the state of the race in the House at this hour and the impact, plus a closer look at where abortion rights stand in 10 states and the reaction around the world. Our powerhouse political team has been following every move on the trail. Now, what we can expect from the 47th President of the United States.
Live in Times Square, this is a special edition of Good Morning America, Your Voice, Your Vote, Election 2024.
And we do say good morning, America. Donald Trump has been elected as the 47th President of the United States. Overnight, the President-elect you see there took the stage with his family.
And take a look at the map. You see the big red wave. And Donald Trump overtaking Kamala Harris in many of the battleground states. We are also tracking the fight to control Congress. Take a look at the Senate scoreboard right there. Republicans flipping the Senate, and the state of the race in the House at this hour. Republicans at 205 right now. They need 218 for control.
It is a sweeping and stunning victory, unlike any in our history. It will be studied and debated for generations. The impact broad and deep, a turning point for the country. Rachel Scott has been on the road with the Trump campaign. She starts us off. Good morning, Rachel.
Guys, good morning. I would say good morning, but we never actually said good night. We just projected this race. It was a historic run for president, and now a historic return to the White House after a 2-year-long campaign. Donald Trump, a convicted felon who survived 2 assassination attempts, making a remarkable comeback to become the next president of the United States.
This morning, Donald Trump projected to be the next president of the United States.
Well, I want to thank you all very much.
The former president once again outperforming expectations, shocking his political opponents and sweeping enough of the battleground states to win the White House.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together.
Overnight, Trump addressing a fired-up crowd of supporters in Florida, declaring victory minutes after ABC News and other outlets called Pennsylvania for him.
I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America.
The former president, whose campaign was fueled by dark rhetoric and calls for revenge, now pledging to help heal the country.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together.
Turning to some of his top priorities, like securing the southern border, boosting energy production, and avoiding overseas conflicts.
I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises. Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people.
The race ultimately coming down to 7 swing states. Trump may now sweep all of them. After 11 p.m., the first one was called for him. The former president later winning Georgia, then Pennsylvania, and clinching victory with a win in Wisconsin. In county after county across the country, improving on his margin of victory in past races. ABC News exit polling data showing Trump gained critical ground, particularly among young men in union households. But his most surprising surge among Hispanic voters, the best showing for a Republican presidential candidate in exit polls since 1976. Up 13 points from 2020, although he still trailed Harris 53-45.
We've built the biggest, the broadest, the most unified coalition. They've never seen anything like it in all of American history.
So Trump is now the first former president to return to the White House in more than 130 years and the first convicted felon to be elected, also the oldest. And guys, while he was speaking, making that address last night, he made no mention of Vice President Kamala Harris.
And when did the Trump team know they had victory in hand?
They started to feel really good when they started to see the results in North Carolina. He spent more time campaigning there in the final days of this campaign than anywhere else, but really all eyes were on all-important Pennsylvania. The former president campaigning in that state said repeatedly, if we win here, we win the entire thing. When they started to see how much they were racking up the margins in counties that they won even 4 years ago, that is when they felt like they had this in the bag. And I got a text from a campaign source just about an hour ago that said it was a good night, but it was better than they expected.
All right, Rachel. Thank you so much for that. And we're going to bring in our chief Washington correspondent, John Carlin. John, you said it on our air last night, the greatest comeback in American political history.
Well, when you consider the way he left office, the impeachments, the indictments that came later, the convictions, this was a sweeping victory. He looks like he will be the first president in 2 decades to win the popular vote. He is likely to sweep all of the battleground states. And not just that, he had significant gains in deep blue territory, blue states, big cities, cities like Chicago. He did much better in Brooklyn, for example, than Joe Biden had done 4 years ago. And he comes back to Washington, Michael, more powerful than when he was here before. If you remember, when he first got elected, you had major figures in the Republican Party who defied him, who stood up for him, stood up to him, opposed him. Now he comes as the leader of a Republican Party that he has remade in his own image. But I have to say, now there's an immense challenge. First, for Donald Trump. He wakes up this morning in a country where a significant segment of the population fears what happened last night, fears what he will do. He needs to find a way to do what he promised he would do at the convention, to be a president for all Americans. What does he say to those that are deeply disturbed by what happened and fear what he will do? But there is also in that a challenge to the Democrats. Kamala Harris, what does she say today? She called him a fascist, and now she must give a concession speech. I was in the White House when he came to meet Barack Obama after he won in 2016, and Democrats were similarly distraught. And Barack Obama stood up, welcomed him in, met with him for about an hour one-on-one, and came out, promised to help him in the transition, told the White House staff to cooperate and to make this a smooth transition. How does Joe Biden handle this, given how brutally tough this campaign was? This will be a challenge, for all sides, to say the least.
Yeah, we'll wait and hear what he has to say, and also Kamala Harris as well.
Yeah.
But let's bring in our political director and Washington Bureau Chief, Rick Klein. Just break down the numbers on how this was such a convincing win.
Yeah, Robin, we talked all the last couple of weeks about all the paths to victory. It turned out that Donald Trump basically took all of the paths. And it started in the South with Georgia and North Carolina. As Rachel said, they could tell they were having a good night. Pennsylvania, so decisive for that campaign because it was the biggest battleground and a must-win for Kamala Harris. And then Wisconsin ended up being the clincher. And as we speak this morning, we still see Trump up in the other battleground states, including Michigan, Nevada, Arizona. It's possible that he comes out on top in all 7 of the battlegrounds, which would just be kind of a wild finish. But, we talked all campaign about how close this race was, how close the polling was, and we always knew it could tip in the same direction. Those big blue battleground states that once represented the blue wall, they ended up all tipping red, just like they did for him 8 years ago. And as we've been talking about this morning, he ran up big margins even in blue states. It was really across the country, suburban areas, rural areas, even big cities and bluer parts of the map, all tipped in his direction, a big red wave. And in fact, it ended up being so decisive that he will, as John mentioned, end up almost certainly winning the popular vote. He's up 5 million as of this hour in the popular vote. He didn't win that either time he ran before, either 2016 when he won or 2020 when he lost. Guys?
His base really showed up, and it showed even in those rural areas, as you showed all night long, both of you all night long. And Mary Bruce as well was up, our chief White House correspondent, but she's joining us here this morning to take a look inside the Harris campaign.
Hey, Robin, good morning. Yeah, the silence from the Kamala Harris campaign this morning really is deafening. It was around 11 o'clock last night when we started to see signs that they were seeing the writing on the wall. The campaign sending a memo urging their team to be patient, cautioning that this could take a while. Then shortly before 1 a.m., Harris's senior campaign advisor took to the stage at her Watch event at Howard University to inform the crowd that Harris herself would not be speaking. Now, the postmortems are just beginning, but there will be a lot of questions about the focus of her campaign, whether she focused too much on her opponent, Donald Trump, and not enough on the issues. With the economy, of course, top of mind for voters, there are a lot of questions about whether she failed to differentiate herself enough from Biden. We all remember, of course, that moment when she was on The View, when she said she couldn't think of anything she would do differently from the president. And there will be lots of questions about Joe Biden's decisions, too. Should he have exited the race sooner? Would things have been different if Democrats had a primary instead of Harris's condensed 107-day campaign? Now, it is possible we may get a sense of what Harris thinks went wrong here when she finally addresses her supporters later today, George.
Okay, Mary, thanks. Let's bring in our political experts, former DNC Chair Donna Brazile, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, former RNC Chair Trump White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus. Reince, let me begin with you. This was even more sweeping than you predicted yesterday. What is the mandate now for Donald Trump?
Well, I predicted he'd be over 300 electoral votes. I predicted he'd be 304 or 310. I'm not surprised by what happened. The mandate is massive because it was one of the biggest victories in modern political history, maybe one of the biggest political victories in our lifetime. The reason it was so massive was that he created a diverse blue-collar coalition in this country made up of Hispanic voters, black voters, Asian voters. It was across the board. And it wasn't just a ground game thing. The ground game was pretty good on the early vote, as we talked about. He came reasonably close in New Jersey, in Minnesota, in New Mexico. There was no ground game there. People heard what Donald Trump was preaching, and people in this country liked it. And they rejected the policies of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and there was no room for her in this debate. I mean, this was, and he's going to win the popular vote, perhaps.
When you look at the breadth and depth of this victory, Donna Brazile, is there anything the Democrats could have done?
Oh, George, my list is so long, I may have a whole new book out before the end of the day. Look, I thought it could be an electoral gumbo coalition where you repair that blue wall for good, but you expand the electorate. I thought she could expand with more young people. I thought with abortion on the ballot, freedom, democracy, that she could have a sweep and turnout operation. Look, for every 2 votes that they got out in cities, Donald Trump was getting 4 to 5 votes out in the rural areas and the suburbs. And for whatever reason, the Democratic coalition collapsed in places where they should have been strong. I was talking to Chris throughout the night about blue states like Illinois coming in 2 hours late. His state, New Jersey, coming in almost 4 hours late. Look, Democrats are going to learn the lesson. They're going to rebuild the party, expand the coalition. It's going to take time. We shouldn't focus on finger pointing and what went wrong with a 107-day campaign. We should focus on how we rebuild for the future.
Chris Christie, Donald Trump talked about unifying the country last night. Can he do it? Will he do it?
Can he do it? Sure, he could. Well, look, he could decide for himself that what he wants his legacy to be is that he took this election victory and he turned it into something bigger. And he likes bigger. And so if he can become convinced that some achievements that people could agree on would be bigger, maybe he'll do that. Will he? You know, I think that's up for grabs. I think if you base it on his past performance, you'd say probably not. But look, this is a guy who's made this now extraordinary comeback. I don't think there's any other way to put it. And now he's got to decide. And I said this earlier this morning, George, that, you know, from the time he gets in there, he's a lame duck. And certainly he's got 2 years, I think, to do substantive things before the next phase starts to come and people start to look ahead. So that tends to focus the mind a bit, too, on what do I want to get done, because it's not another campaign and maybe another 4 years. So I think, can he do it? Yes. Will he do it? That's anybody's best guess.
So what do the first 100 days look like?
Well, I think he's going to try to fulfill the promises that he made.
The question is which ones? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I mean, number one, I think he's going to sign an executive order on deporting criminal illegal immigrants that are here, violent criminals. Number two, I think he's going to open up drilling leases. Obviously, he's got to get his cabinet through. He's got to work on taxes. It's probably going to take up the entire legislative agenda is the renewal of the tax cuts, and it looks like he's going to be able to get it. He's going to have an increased. He's dragging with him new senators. Probably will keep the House of Representatives. Donald Trump is going to go in there with a national mandate, along with a House and a Senate that's going to be Republican.
What about the other things he talked about in the campaign? Pardoning the January 6th protesters, firing the FBI director Christopher Wray.
He may. I would expect he will do all those things. I mean, I think people should understand. But Donald Trump came into this campaign, especially the conclusion, telling the American people exactly what he's going to do. And he wasn't like he was hiding it in the end. He actually was even bolder at the end. And the American people heard the choices, and they overwhelmingly picked Donald Trump, along with all the things that some people may not like. But that's what he won on.
So, Donna, what does that mean for the Democrats? What should Kamala Harris say today? What should Democrats do in those first 100 days?
Look, I think you win with grace and you lose with humility. I think she has to explain to her supporters where she fell short, and she also has to, hopefully talk about the future where the president and vice president invite the president-elect to the White House, work on a transition. I mean, part of what the American people want is to see us work together, and I think that's something that she has to do today. I don't think she needs to go through recrimination and figure out who did what right and whatever. She needs to focus on the future, as she said during the campaign, and that involves transition with Donald Trump.
Chris, let me end with you. If you were still advising Donald Trump, what is the first thing you would tell him to do on January 20th?
First thing I tell him to do on January 20th is to make sure that he puts together the best group of people he could possibly put together to take full advantage of the mandate that the American people have now given him. That can evaporate very quickly if you're under scrutiny and criticism and people start to back away. So put the best group of people around him you can. And the last thing I'd say, George, is, we've been talking about democracy a lot in this campaign. Both sides threw it around a lot. This is democracy. Some people are going to be happy, some people are going to be unhappy, but democracy is what happened last night. And now what I think Donald Trump needs to do is get a great group of people around him to try to take full advantage of what he's been given.
Much more on the consequences coming up in our next hour. Thank you all very much. Let's go to Ginger.
Thank you, George. We've had 3 reported tornadoes west of Lafayette, Louisiana. The video there, the damage as well. And now that front moving east, and we'll actually have a little trough. It's going to squeeze together a lot of rain, in Georgia especially. So significant flash flood risk goes all the way up to Augusta along the South Carolina state line. Now, that's just one of the stories, but we're also watching Hurricane Rafael. We just got the update. It is a Category 2 hurricane now, so it's very strong. It's going to pass through western Cuba. Mudslides and heavy, heavy rain on top of 100, 110 mile per hour winds. Key West has a tropical storm warning. There's a tornado threat in southwest Florida today, and then the track takes it and it kind of hangs and stalls in the Gulf for the weekend. Your local weather in 30 seconds.
Good morning, Kentucky. Now, we're waking up to some steady to moderate to heavy pockets of rainfall across much of our area. The rainfall is going to be around throughout the course of the morning. So as you do head out the door, make sure the windshield wipers are operating on your car, and make sure, too, you take it easy with travel. Notice about noon, a few more pockets of rainfall are in the forecast. But as we get you closer to mid-afternoon, some drying conditions will be taking shape. Some more pockets of light rain possible again tonight. Otherwise, we're going to be setting up for a quieter afternoon Thursday.
We have a life-changing surprise for an inspiring young man who's a college football player who's now raising his younger siblings. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Kentucky. And we're actually looking at a crash at 264 going eastbound towards Bell's Lane this morning. It has been blocking several lanes of traffic. You can see that drive times have really been slow as you make your way towards Bell's Lane coming from Bank Street this morning on 264 traveling eastbound. We have another crash to take you to going westbound on I-265 at Preston Highway. The right shoulder is also blocked there. One more in addition to it. Bardstown Road making your way towards the Snyder as well. No injury with that crash. We have a lot of red to be talking about on Traffic Tracker, and it's expected with the amount of rainfall that we're seeing on our current map. There's your drive times by the numbers. It'll be slow going, to say the least. A live look at weather forecast coming up after the break. Good morning, Kentucky. And we're waking up to some scattered rain showers moving through from west to east. All in all, no flooding, no severe weather. We've already seen over a half an inch of rain in Metro Louisville, and we have more on the way throughout the course of the morning. Here's actually a quick look at Metro Louisville itself. Some scattered showers all across the city limits. The heaviest pocket of rain on the southeastern side of Jefferson County, and we're also dealing with some more standard showers from E-Town and points south of there. And as we make our way towards Carroll County, there's some additional showers underway as well. A live look at the city. Temperatures on the map are well into the 60s, and we're going to make our way only to a high temperature of 71 degrees. And we're going to see a drying trend take shape as we get you into the afternoon.
Welcome back to GMA. In a sweeping and stunning victory, Donald Trump is heading back to the White House as the 47th president of the United States. Economy a top issue for so many voters. I want to bring in our chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis. And Rebecca, the answer to Donald Trump campaign's question, are you better off than 4 years ago? Pretty clear from a majority of voters.
45% of them did not believe that was the case, George. Good morning. And the Dow now is set to open 1,200 points higher this morning. I've been speaking to a number of traders on Wall Street this morning, and what you're seeing reflected in stocks is relief that the election is over with a decisive, not a contested victory. We came into this election with the S&P 500 up 21%, the best election year for stocks since 1936. But when I talked to voters all over the country, it wasn't their 401ks or the strong jobs market that they were focusing on. When people talked about the economy as their top issue, what they meant was inflation, higher prices. Those hit people on the tightest budgets the very hardest, at the grocery store, in rents and childcare. The question now is what President-elect Trump will do about it, and will that move the dial? There's likely some combination of tax cuts and strict tariffs he will impose. And as we heard recently from one of Trump's biggest supporters, Elon Musk, the victory will deliver temporary hardship. Guys.
All right, Rebecca, our thanks to you. We're getting to some of the other top issues, the border and reproductive rights. Elizabeth Schulze is in the border state of Arizona. And Elizabeth, Arizona also just one of 10 states where abortion was on the ballot. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Robin. And in 10 of those 10 states, 7 of them, including here in Arizona, passed ballot initiatives to expand abortion access. So propositions in Arizona, Colorado, Maryland, Montana, Missouri, Nevada, and New York passed with broad support. So basically that means that those state constitutions will now be amended to enshrine the right to an abortion. And this is especially notable in Missouri, where the total ban there will now be reversed. On the other hand, in Florida, voters failed to meet a 60% vote threshold there. So they did not pass the measure. Its 6-week ban will stay in place. Voters are also keeping in place a total abortion ban in South Dakota and a 12-week ban in Nebraska. So the bottom line, this is still a galvanizing issue for voters, including in some red and swing states. But the winning streak for abortion rights initiatives on the ballot since the end of Roe v. Wade has now come to an end, Robin.
And Elizabeth, what can you tell us about the immigration ballot measure that passed there in Arizona?
This is a proposition that passed with broad support, more than 60% of the votes based on the current tally. What this will do is make it a state crime for anyone crossing into the U.S. from Mexico. And so that means that basically local and state law enforcement could arrest anyone who they suspect crossed into the border without proper authorization. Judges would also be able to issue deportation orders under this proposition. It mimics a similar law that was passed in Texas, but that law, Robin, is still winding its way through the courts.
We do remember that. All right, Elizabeth, thank you. Michael?
All right, thank you, Robin. Let's bring in one of President-elect Donald Trump's senior advisors, Jason Miller. Mr. Miller, thank you for joining us this morning. And how is President-elect Donald Trump reacting this morning?
Well, he was doing great a couple hours ago when I last spoke with him. I didn't want to call this morning in case he did want to sleep just a little bit. But after receiving such a massive victory last night, and keep in mind we're on pace for 312 electoral votes, even bigger than his win in 2016, winning the popular vote, first time a Republican has done that in 2 decades, and really setting this mandate for change that he can fix the economy and secure the border. Michael, you look at the way that the president built this new coalition, winning upwards of a third of the votes from voters of color all the way across the country, with African American supporters, Latino American supporters, Arab American supporters. The message has been sent. People are sick and tired of the direction the economy is going. They want that border secured. And the great thing about President Trump coming back, he's already done it before. He knows how to get that economy going, how to bring prices down. So people are optimistic that it can be fixed right away.
Well, we'll see if that's possible. But has he spoken with VP Harris yet?
As of the last time I spoke with President Trump, they had not connected, but we'll see what happens today. But it is such a big, overwhelming victory last night, with the networks calling it, the Associated Press and others, that now the time is to look forward to putting together that transition team, and obviously as we head into the White House. And I think what President Trump said last night when he was up there on the stage was that he wants to heal the country. This is the time when we put aside the political divisions, we bring Democrats, Republicans, people who aren't necessarily even involved with politics together. That has to start at the top, and that's the message that President Trump sent, that he wants to bring the country together.
Yeah, he did talk about unity, which we saw in his speech last night or early this morning. So what specifically will he do to reach out to voters who supported Vice President Harris?
Yeah, well, number one is, you saw what he said last night, was that everybody is impacted by the economy. He is going to put more money back in the pockets of every single voter, whether they voted for him or not. He is going to make our streets safe, securing the border. We know that he's the one who can restore peace. We had no new wars under President Trump. That's the mindset. That's the approach. But even last night when President Trump was speaking, he spoke of a number of different names, people who were Democrats, people who weren't affiliated with politics in any way, shape, or form, that he can bring together. But that, again, that starts at the top. I think in this campaign there was too much that was made about division and hatred toward sides. And the reason why President Trump won and why he won so big, he told every voter what he was going to do for them, how he would improve their lives. Michael, in campaigns, you have to tell people what you're going to do for them. President Trump did that successfully.
Well, he told everyone what he was going to do. He said he has an unprecedented and powerful mandate. So what will he do on day one?
Yeah, great question. So a number of things you can do with executive orders, such as put all of his strong border policies back in place. And the previous administration didn't need any acts of Congress to go and break the border. And so all we have to do with regard to the borders, put his policies back in place. We can secure it and start making the country much more safe. Also, we can get a lot of the energy exploration going, which of course that will help with bringing down the cost of things and stop the out of control inflation that we've seen. Other things take acts of Congress and such, but you can start off on day one. And that, I think, was one of the key value propositions of why voters look to President Trump, because they've seen him do it before. This isn't something where you hear politicians talk about things on the campaign trail and you don't know if it'll come together. President Trump built the greatest economy we ever had. We had a secure border. He can put that back in place, and the voters know that he's already done it.
And in terms of his incoming administration, last week, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's a vaccine skeptic, said that Trump has promised him control of the public health agency. So how much authority will the president give him?
Well, it's far too early to talk about specific positions. The president has put together 2 great co-chairs of his transition effort, Howard Lutnick and Linda McMahon. They will put a number of options in front of the president, and the president ultimately will go and pick who he wants. Some may be Senate confirmed positions, some might be appointed positions, but he is going to put the best people in the positions to where he feels that they can bring that change. Michael, the country is going in the wrong direction. Upwards of 70%, I believe maybe even 72% of Americans say things are going in the wrong way. People want change, and you look at the diverse communities, the blue wall states, the Teamsters, the union workers, everybody who rejected the status quo and said, we want to go back to how we had it with President Trump. And that message is clearly sent. When you win the popular vote like that, you have a mandate for change, and that's exactly what President Trump will do.
Well, it will definitely be a change. Jason Miller, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Back now, we'll look at the fight for control of Congress. Rick Klein and Rachel Scott are back. Rick, let me begin with you. The Senate has gone red. House still up in the air, but they have some movement.
Yeah, that's right. The Senate, the Democrats went into the night with a 51-49 advantage, and they left the night, as of this morning, +3 on the Republican side. Pickups in Ohio, West Virginia, and then just this morning, Montana going to the Republicans as well. And we've got 5 races that are still undecided. Very possible that 1, 2, 3, 4 of these end up landing on the Republican side. That will give Donald Trump a huge majority to work with to confirm his cabinet secretaries and Supreme Court picks.
And the House?
The House right now is 212 Republicans and counting. That's a pickup of a couple, but there's a few that they might give back. We're nowhere near counting, especially some districts in California. And as odd as it is for that red wave that we saw last night, it's actually still possible that the Democrats take control of the House if they get some flips out west.
And Rachel, what do we think this means for the Trump agenda? We've asked that question to his advisors. What are you looking at?
Yeah, this is going to give Donald Trump a very real chance to pass most of his agenda. So not only the cabinet picks, I want to read for you some of the things that Donald Trump has been promising on the campaign trail. Mass deportations, terminating every border policy of the Biden administration, tariffs on goods from overseas, repealing Biden's electric vehicle mandate, restoring a travel ban on certain countries. Also, additional aid for Ukraine, possibly even Israel, also going to be hanging in the balance as well, George.
Scott, Rick Klein, thanks very much. Coming up next, what the election means for Donald Trump's criminal and civil cases. We are back with the court cases against Donald Trump. 4 ongoing criminal cases involving dozens of charges, also 3 civil cases. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky has been tracking them all. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, George. Reclaiming the presidency, maybe Donald Trump's get-out-of-jail-free card. Trump has said he would fire special counsel Jack Smith within 2 seconds, erasing the 2 federal prosecutions he's brought, one over subverting the 2020 election, the other for retaining classified documents. Now, Smith could try to turn over the January 6th case to career prosecutors, maybe issue a report about his findings, but Trump, in all likelihood, would face no legal consequences. The classified documents case has already been dismissed. Now the special counsel's appeal to reinstate it would likely be withdrawn. Trump's criminal case in Georgia produced this iconic image of the campaign, his mugshot. Any trial now would have to wait until 2029. And Trump is scheduled to be sentenced here in New York later this month for falsifying business records. Even if that goes forward, it's hard to see how he faces any meaningful sentence now. And George, an appeals court in New York is considering whether Trump must pay a civil fraud judgment. So it's possible George Trump will begin his presidency owing nearly $500 million. Guys.
Okay, Aaron, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, we're going to have more now from our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, who is here with us this morning. Dan, if we just heard President-elect Trump convicted in the hush money case, scheduled to be sentenced on November 26th.
And
what happens now?
Well, remember, his lawyers have been pushing to delay this, and it seems that was a pretty smart decision, because now you don't just have a criminal defendant, you have a president-elect who is going to be sentenced. And I do not see any way that this judge now sentences him to any kind of meaningful time. I don't see how he gives him any jail time at all. And one other point on Jack Smith, which is I would expect that Jack Smith is probably going to resign before he lets Donald Trump actually fire him.
And we were alluding to also the 3 civil cases that he's appealing. What about those?
That's a different game, right? Because that's about money. He can't now take back those judgments that were held against him. Very different than when you've got the government trying to take away someone's freedom, as you do in a criminal case, versus when you're trying to take away someone's money. The money judgments are going to remain, some of them from the government, some of them from a private plaintiff, and the appeals will continue, but he very well may still owe all of that money even as president.
All right, we'll see what happens there, Dan. Thanks so much. And we'll be right back.
With this next low-pressure system dropping into the west, not only will we be bringing some mountain snow, which we'll get to, but we've got the big winds. We're talking from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, gusts upwards of 50+ miles per hour that could take down trees and power lines. You get up into the mountains, and those red flag alerts are up because 60 to even 100-mile-per-hour winds. This is an extreme fire danger. Thousand Oaks, right through the San Gabriel mountain range there, Malibu in that extreme risk. So this is happening today. please beware and follow all the fire danger. Now, in Douglas County, Colorado, and in Denver this morning, winter weather advisory. Some roads are even being closed south of Denver. They're looking at that first kind of significant or measurable snow likely of the season. And this is going to stick around. Look, cold on the west and much warmer than normal on the east. Coming up, the college football star now raising his younger siblings. We're going to have surprises for them that will change their lives. And Deals and Steals beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Big bargains on decorating and entertaining for the holidays. And then cookbook author Dan Pashman taking our $20 dinner challenge, a delicious dish to feed a family of 4. Your local news and weather next.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Grace McKenna. In your morning headlines, one of the 2 proposed amendments to Kentucky's Constitution passed. The other proposed amendment on the ballot failed. Amendment 1 will now add language to the state constitution prohibiting non-U.S. citizens from voting. Secretary of State Michael Adams has already said that's not actually happening, but Adams did feel it was important to clarify the language to keep it from ever happening. Now, the other proposed amendment on the ballot that did fail to pass was Amendment 2. It would have opened the door to allow lawmakers to use public funds to support private or charter schools. There's no clear word yet on if the GOP will continue to push that measure moving forward. We have so many more election results to give you. You can find those on the WHAS11.com homepage.
Good morning. We're seeing these rain showers roll through that we dealt with throughout the midnight hour and beyond. Right now, they're actually making their way across northern Kentucky. But notice in Louisville, we're kind of seeing a brief break from the decent showers. The east end right now continue to pick up some light showers passing through from Fern Creek towards Anchorage. Shively, you're kind of out of the woods with the rainfall, too. Hodgenville to E-Town, Sonora, Bardstown, and Springfield all included with some of these showers. And we're actually going to be giving way to a drier afternoon. But keep in mind, the heaviest pockets of rain are affecting Franklin and Shelby counties. A current look at our temperatures. We're enjoying some readings in the middle to upper 60s. Downtown 66, Fern Creek at 64, and the cooler air is actually pocketed to the north right now, where Bedford's at 62 and French Lick is at 61. We're going to be seeing some drying conditions take over for the afternoon today, and tomorrow drying throughout the afternoon as well.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Donald Trump heads back to the White House, completing his improbable political comeback. The president-elect once again.
I believe the greatest political movement of all time.
The former president leads a red wave in a contentious campaign. A presidential election like no other in our history, addressing a fired-up crowd of supporters in Florida overnight.
Melania Trump set to return to the White House as First Lady after appearing only a few times out on the trail and defending a woman's right to choose. On stage with her husband celebrating his victory over Vice President Kamala Harris, while Trump pledged to unite the country.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. Success will bring us together.
This morning, Donald Trump's plans for his second time in the Oval Office, from his agenda on immigration and the economy, plus a closer look at where abortion rights stand in 10 states, and the reaction around the world. Our powerhouse political team has been following every move on the trail, and now what we can expect from the 47th President of the United States. As we say, good morning, America.
Live in Times Square, this is a special edition of Good Morning America, Your Voice, Your Vote, Election 2024.
And we do say good morning, America. President-elect Donald Trump took the stage with his family overnight, promising to unify the country.
Donald Trump overtaking Kamala Harris and many of the battleground states in the big red wave taking over much of the country.
A sweeping and stunning victory unlike any in our history. Whit Johnson is in West Palm Beach with the Trump campaign. Good morning, Whit.
Hey, George, good morning. 2 impeachments, 2 assassination attempts, political convictions, and a comeback, criminal convictions, and a political comeback for the ages. Donald Trump overnight celebrating what he called the most unified coalition, a new wave of support that will carry him back to the White House.
This morning, Donald Trump set to return to the White House, elected the 47th President of the United States in a historic political comeback.
Well, I want to thank you all very much.
Overnight, the new president-elect addressing a fired-up crowd of supporters in Florida.
I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America.
Throughout the campaign, Trump faced criticism for his dark rhetoric and calls for retribution, now pledging to help heal the country.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try, we have to try, and it's going to happen. Success will bring us together.
Turning to some of his top priorities, like securing the southern border, boosting energy production, and avoiding conflicts overseas.
I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises. Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people.
The race ultimately coming down to 7 swing states. Trump may now sweep all of them. After 11 p.m., the first one was called for him, North Carolina. The former president later winning Georgia, then Pennsylvania, clinching victory in Wisconsin. In county after county across the nation, improving on his margin of victory in past races. ABC News exit polling data showing Trump gained critical ground, especially among young men and union households, and a pivotal surge among Hispanic voters, the best showing for a Republican presidential candidate in exit polls since 1976.
We've built the biggest, the broadest, the most unified coalition. They've never seen anything like it in all of American history.
Stand by. Sources tell ABC News that Donald Trump has tentative closed-door meetings already scheduled today with members of his transition team. And another example of the history made in this election, Trump will be the first president elected to non-consecutive terms since Grover Cleveland in 1892. George.
Okay, Wood, thanks. Let's bring back our political director, Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein. Take a deep dive on the Trump coalition.
Yeah, George, we were focused on the gender gap in the exit polls, and we saw it emerge, a 10-point gender gap among men. Donald Trump had a 10-point advantage. It was the opposite among women, a big gap among white, non-college educated voters. This was a striking, a big part of the coalition, a 30-point advantage. And this was probably the shocker of the night, the edge among Latino voters. Often this is well into the double digits, if not touching 20 points. Kamala Harris had only an 8-point lead among Latino voters. And this might have been the biggest determination of all, and was something we covered in our polls quite a bit as well. Are you better off or worse off than you were 4 years ago? 45% of the country saying they were worse off. Only 24% said they were better off. Those were just very, very difficult streams to try to swim against if you were Kamala Harris, and ultimately may have been the deciding factor in Trump getting what he wanted to get done at that election, guys.
Okay, Rick Klein, thanks very much. Robin?
Okay, George, the election and the Supreme Court. Let's bring in ABC News contributor Kate Shaw with what it could mean. Good morning, Kate. So what kind of checks are we talking about here in a Trump second term and possible future appointments?
Right. So, Robin, this morning I'm thinking about the Supreme Court in a couple of different terms. One, will the Supreme Court act as a meaningful check on a second Trump presidency? Actually, during the first Trump administration, they were a real check. They struck down efforts to add a citizenship question to the census and to end the DACA program. That, however, was a different court, right? Trump has now transformed the Supreme Court, and this court is not one that I think is likely to act as a comparable check. And those appointments are really the other thing I'm thinking about this morning. So he's already made 3 appointments. The question is, how many more appointments could he make? I think he's likely to get to replace Justices Thomas and Alito, who are in their 70s. The real question is whether the 3 Democratic appointees, who are younger, can stay the course, churn out their dissents, because another vacancy would transform the court in a way that, we really haven't seen before.
Always appreciate your insight, Kate.
Thank you
Thanks
so much.
All right. Michael?
All right, thank you, Robin. The economy was a top issue for many voters, with almost half those polled saying they are worse off than 4 years ago. Let's go back to our chief economic correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis. Good morning again, Rebecca. What you got?
Nice to see you again, Michael. And there are so many ways that you can define the economy. You can define it as growth, jobs, stocks. But when voters I talk to about the economy as their top issue talk to me coming into this election, they said they meant inflation. And while inflation has come way down, prices have not. And that hits everyone, and in particular those on tight budgets the hardest, at the grocery store, in rents, in childcare, it is nagging and it is constant. And inflation is also a worldwide phenomenon coming out of the pandemic. We saw incumbents in the UK and France and Japan. They all lost ground with people feeling less secure than they did 4 years ago. The question now is what exactly President-elect Trump can do about it. Economists say he's not likely to move the dial substantially, at least for a year. And it is a very different time than when Trump first came to office. Back then, inflation in the run-up to the 2016 election was flat, and in some months, prices were even trending lower. What you see this morning out of the stock market is a lot of cheering. Stocks are pointing higher, and that's because there is a decisive victory here. The biggest fear on Wall Street coming into this election was that it would be a contested election, long drawn out, and real questions about who actually won.
But that was not the case.
Not the case.
All right, Rebecca, thank you. Another top issue, reproductive rights, abortion on the ballot in 10 states. Let's go back to Elizabeth Schulze in Phoenix with how those initiatives fared. Good morning again, Elizabeth.
Striking cheers.
Hey, good morning again, Robin. This is a win for abortion rights advocates here in Arizona. It's one of 7 states, including Colorado, Maryland, Montana, Missouri, Nevada, and New York, where voters directly decided to amend their state constitution to enshrine the right to an abortion. Similar initiatives in 3 other states, Florida, South Dakota, and Nebraska, failed, so their total or strict abortion bans will now stay in place. When you look at the exit polling data, 19% of women say abortion is the most important issue to them. That goes up to 42% among women under the age of 30. Up until now, every time that abortion had been on the ballot since the end of Roe v. Wade, the abortion rights position won. This is clearly still a motivating issue for voters, but we are seeing that there might be a ceiling to some of that support. Robin.
We will see that. And Elizabeth, I know you've been up all night long. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Appreciate you as always. And then top leaders around the world reacting to the election results. Let's go to our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell. Good morning to you, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. I think presidents and prime ministers have been tripping over themselves this morning to try and send congratulations to Donald Trump. But here in Europe, I think leaders are bracing for what another Trump term could mean after threats to end military aid to Ukraine and withdraw U.S. support for NATO allies who don't spend enough on defense. Trump has repeatedly said that he'd end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours if he's re-elected. President Zelensky appealing to Trump today to maintain support. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov saying he's not aware of Putin plans to congratulate Trump, calling the U.S. an unfriendly country. I think China also is going to have concerns after threats on tariffs and the dangers of a trade war. Parts of South America and Mexico, too, are going to have cause to worry about Trump's threats about migration and also about tariffs. The City of Love, however, bucking the trend, with the mayor of Paris writing, "This is bad news for the world, democracies, Europe, climate, women and Ukraine." But there have, of course, been genuine well-wishers. Israeli leader Netanyahu celebrating what he calls a huge victory and a new beginning, and Hungary's Viktor Orban calling this the greatest comeback in U.S. political history. Guys.
So mixed reaction abroad there. All right, Ian, thank you.
Coming up in our GMA Morning Menu, more on Trump's unprecedented comeback.
Also had Melania Trump, what her return to the White House could look like and what her agenda might be in a second Trump term.
Plus, we cannot wait to introduce you to an inspiring young man, a college football player who is now raising his younger sibling. We have a life-changing surprise for them that you do not want to miss. And Lara's with a special guest. Hey, Lara.
Michael, hi, I'm with Dan Pashman. He is cooking $20 dinners. He's taking the challenge. We're doing it, how to make a delicious meal for a family of 4 on a massive budget. And Tori's here with holiday deals and steals. You do not want to miss these. It's all coming up on Good Morning America. Yeah, come on.
The White House is returning there. United States. Want to bring in our contributor, presidential historian Mark Updegrove. Mark, thank you for joining us this morning. Try to put this in some historical context.
I'm not sure you can, George. This is, without question, it's been mentioned several times, the greatest political comeback in American political history. It's that simple. You can compare it to Grover Cleveland, who had non-consecutive presidential terms, too. He was the 22nd and 24th president, but Donald Trump had to overcome 2 impeachments, a re-election loss in 2020 to Joe Biden, a failed insurrection attempt, 34 convictions on felony counts. That is remarkable, and yet he survived and won this election. There is that emblematic picture of Donald Trump after the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, and he's raising his fist defiantly. That is a symbol of Donald Trump's political career and of this campaign, George. Donald Trump survived and lived to fight another day. It's a remarkable mandate and a testament to the resilience of Donald Trump.
Remarkable certainly is a testament to the resilience. But let's walk through again what you just said. 2 impeachments, a felony conviction, indictments for trying to overturn the election, indictments for violating the rules over classified documents. In any other time, any one of those would have been considered disqualifying for a candidate for President of the United States. Do you have an understanding of why it wasn't this time?
The only thing I think, George, it goes back to the economy. There was these kitchen table issues that ran deep in America. There were 2 campaigns that this echoed. One was Ronald Reagan in 1980 when he beat Jimmy Carter, the incumbent president at the time, by asking Americans, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Overwhelmingly, Americans felt that they weren't. And Ronald Reagan was elected in a virtual landslide at the time. And then in 1992, a campaign you're very familiar with, Bill Clinton, who beat the incumbent George H.W. Bush, his political advisor, James Carville, urging him to say, it's the economy, stupid. You have to sound a message about the economy. At the end of the day, despite the character flaws, the marked character flaws of Donald Trump, the Americans were thinking about kitchen table issues. And while Donald Trump has an inability often to tell the truth to so many Americans is the price of eggs and the price of gas and things that wind up on their kitchen table, having them think about their pocketbooks, George. And I think that was ultimately the overriding issue in this campaign.
We've also never seen a presidential candidate or a president fixate so much on his opponents as calling them the enemy within, vowing retribution. What do you think that means for a second Trump term?
Well, we heard Trump last night, George, talk about needing to bring the country together, needing to unite the country. He has the mandate to do that, and he spoke the right words. But as you suggested, throughout the campaign, he talked about the vengeance that he would bring, the wrath that he would bring to the presidency if he were to become president again. We saw in his first term that Donald Trump was incapable of being a uniter. He was a divider. He was naturally discordant and chaotic. So we'll see if he makes good on that promise. As he said, he wants to make good on his promises. He promised to unite Americans. George, we'll see if this term is any different than it was when he was the 45th president of the United States.
Mark Updegrove, thanks. Robin?
And he's not the only one returning to the White House. A closer look at Melania Trump, set to return as First Lady once again. Lara, going to share more about that. Good morning.
Robin, good morning to you. Melania Trump may not love being in the spotlight, but that's exactly where she is this morning. She seemed relieved to be done with the attention that comes with being First Lady when she moved back to New York after the last election. But that privacy is no more.
We first sat down with Melania Trump in 2015, shortly after her husband announced he would be running for president.
I encourage him, and I encourage him because I know what he will do and what he can do for America. He loves the American people, and he wants to help them.
Born in a small railway town in Slovenia, she studied architecture. Fluent in 5 languages, modeling would become Melania's career. That's how she met Donald Trump in 1998. 7 years later, the couple married at Mar-a-Lago. They would go on to have a son, Barron. She would stay largely out of the spotlight until her husband's political aspirations dictated the course of the family's history. Melania was also forced to defend her husband after comments he made about grabbing women were leaked.
They were kind of a boy talk, and he was lead on, like egg on, from the host to say dirty and bad stuff.
Once in the White House, she launched her signature initiative, the Be Best campaign to combat bullying.
I could say I'm the most bullied person on the world, one of them.
sticking to her message when asked about any connection between her campaign for kindness and her husband's sometimes aggressive online rhetoric.
I don't agree always what he posts, but his action is his action, and I tell him that. I know I will be hit with criticism to talking about cyberbullying, but it will not stop me to do what is right.
Mrs. Trump was dealt a blow when her longtime aide, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, secretly recorded their conversations, later penning a tell-all book. In the years between President Trump's time in office, Mrs. Trump moved back to that quiet life she seemed to cherish in New York City, staying out of the public eye. As the 2024 campaign got underway, she appeared only a few times on the campaign trail.
Let us start together with a shared vision that builds on American greatness.
But she made headlines after publishing her memoir and defended a woman's right to choose.
What does my body, my choice really mean?
A position at odds with her husband's viewpoint at that time.
Last night, Melania was by her husband's side along with their son, Barron. She also took to social media to share this photo of Barron casting his vote, writing, "Voted for the first time for his dad."
And Barron, I heard, he's really tech savvy, and he was really encouraging his father for those podcasts that were very male oriented. It was really in his father's ear about that, and it really paid off.
I wonder if we'll see more of him in the days to come.
We'll see.
All right, and joining us now is associate editor at the Washington Post and author of The Art of Her Deal, the untold story of Melania Trump, Mary Jordan. Ms. Jordan, thank you for joining us. And this will be Melania's second term as First Lady, but she remains a bit of a mystery to the American people. What will her role be throughout Donald Trump's second term?
I think it'll be a little different than the first time because remember, the Trumps, Melania and Donald, were shocked when they won in 2016. This time, they were expecting it. And this time, Melania, she's no longer a newbie on this. She's getting more assertive and confident. On the other hand, we're not going to be seeing her as we see Jill Biden and other first ladies because Melania is as unconventional as her husband is. And she just will disappear when she wants to and come out when she wants to.
And speaking of something that could be unconventional, there is some talk that she may choose to not have the White House be her primary residence. Is that a real possibility?
I think there's a mistaken notion that she really hated being First Lady. She really did like a lot of it. She loved meeting foreign leaders. It's just that she wants to do what she wants to do. She has told people, look, I'm not the one elected. So if she wants to go down to Mar-a-Lago and hang out by herself for 2 weeks, she'll do that. But she's going to be in the White House. She loves a lot of the pomp and circumstance of it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Hey, Ginger, let's go to Ginger.
Hey there, Michael. I wanted to show you first that Category 2 hurricane that will make landfall today in Cuba will be intensified. It's moving pretty fast northwest at about 14 miles per hour. There are hurricane warnings not just there, but tropical storm warnings for Key West. So the Western Keys, watch for some of the outer bands. It then stalls into the Gulf through the weekend. Early next week, it's really running out of steam as it approaches the Gulf. We'll keep an eye on the coastal states there. But here's what's going to happen today. A few tornadoes could even spin up, not just for the Western Keys, but in southwest Florida. So I'd say from Naples all the way along the coast there, watch for that threat. Let's get a check now, a little closer to home.
Good morning, Kentucky. Now, we're waking up to some steady to moderate to heavy pockets of rainfall across much of our area. The rainfall is going to be around throughout the course of the morning. So as you do head out the door, make sure the windshield wipers are operating on your car and make sure, too, you take it easy with travel. Notice about noon, a few more pockets of rainfall are in the forecast. But as we get you closer to mid-afternoon, some drying conditions will be taking shape. Some more pockets of light rain possible again tonight. Otherwise, we're going to be setting up for a quieter afternoon Thursday.
All right, coming up, Tori Johnson is here with holiday deals and steals. Look at those. We've got them all coming up on Good Morning America.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Grace McKenna. Here are some of your morning headlines. Republican U.S. Senator Mike Braun will take over the governor's seat in Indiana. Braun defeated Democrat Jennifer McCormick and Libertarian Donald Rainwater and replaces outgoing Republican Governor Eric Holcomb, who's term limited. Braun and his Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith will continue the 20-year Republican stronghold on the governor's seat in the state. And U.S. Republican Representative Jim Banks will replace the governor-elect as senator. Braun gave up his Senate seat to run for governor, and Banks defeated Democrat Valerie McRae, keeping the seat red in the Senate. You can review all of the election results in Kentucky and Indiana on WHAS11.com and in our news app.
And good morning. We're still seeing some rain showers moving through. The impact weather alert is going to be actually expiring in the next couple of hours. Notice the chances for rainfall still towards Newcastle, Frankfort, and just over Lexington right now. This rainfall activity still not severe. No flooding risk. Just some steady old rain showers passing through from west to east. So Shelbyville, you're picking up some rain here locally. Fern Creek to Mount Washington, and a couple of scattered showers draped over Jefferson County. Sonora to Hodgenville, even just south of Elizabethtown, and Bardstown also included in some of this rainfall activity. Off to the east, that's where we're still noticing some more rain persisting from Franklin County up towards Henry County and points towards northern Kentucky. We're going to be seeing our rainfall locally come to a close by the noon hour at the latest today, giving way to drying conditions for the afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon is going to be dry as well with rain tomorrow morning.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
And tomorrow here on GMA, we're going to show you how to save on your holiday shopping with Cashback Day. Let's go to Lara.
That's always a good day. Thank you, George. But first, we've got Tori Johnson. She's got deals and steals for us. With the holidays just around the corner, we have some great products for decorating and for entertaining. Good morning, my Tori.
Hello. You ready to do it?
Should we start with the tree?
Yeah.
Reese?
So this is King of Christmas. These are phenomenal because you get the look of real with your, that is a flocked tree. You could choose flocked or the unflocked one. The flocked, though, gives that little nice dusting of fresh powdered snow. Looks so gorgeous. These are so easy to assemble. You do them quickly, then they fold up easily for storage for next year. We also have the flocked wreaths. We've got some flocked garland. Really nice variety of options.
Pre-lit too, right?
The pre-lit on the garland. All of these half price plus
free shipping.
Yep.
Let's
free
do it.
Shipping.
This is one of my favorites. I said I was going to order them last year. I am doing it this year.
You're doing it this year.
Yep.
Okay, so this is Holly Ball. You might remember them also from Shark Tank. This is the inflatable ornament that has this like glass-like look, and that's what makes them different and better from a lot of the knockoffs that are out there. You get this like really beautiful look on them.
Yeah, they look like genuine ornaments.
Yeah, they look like
they're
designed to look like glass.
They bounce.
To kind of simulate that look. What's fabulous about these is you can use them indoors or out. You can hang them, stake them, float them. You can even plop them in the pool if you want that look. We've got 3 different sizes from the sets of minis all the way to the mega size here. These are they just add cheer. Everyone smiles when they see these. You're in. Plus, today's a good day to get them because 50 to 54% off for our deal.
I love that.
Okay.
And these stockings are so adorable.
These are really fun. These are making their GMA Deals debut. It's the original standing stocking.
Oh, they stand?
They stand.
Oh, these are so
what
cute.
I love is that it comes super flat like this with the rods to help it stand. Plus, this is the foot that gives it stability.
No more ruining your mantle.
You're no more ruining your mantle.
Just stand them on
yes,
it.
you
so
don't
cute.
need any kind of nails, hooks, or anything on the mantle, then worrying that it's going to fall down.
And there's lots of good space for the
so much
good
space
stuff.
for the goodies. So you can either use them just as decor, just like this, a fireplace. You can flank an entryway, a staircase.
I'm definitely
put
getting
them
these.
next to somebody's bedside. But then the fun part is stuffing them with all the
lots of
kind
space.
of good treats. There's so much space in them. We've got a huge variety. I think more than 10 different options. And again, they fold up nicely for storage at the end of the season to pull them out for next year. These are all 50% off, starting at $45.
Kate and Duff
really
coming your
fun.
way. All right, tell me about
they're not
these.
watching, so
I know.
They get a little
They're in
surprise.
class. I
Okay,
hope.
flatties. So these are really cool candles. They arrive just like this.
Oh, it looks
super
like a
flat.
cell phone.
Yep. You can put that even in an envelope to be able to mail it.
So
and then it comes with this steel base on the inside. Look who I got right here.
Oh,
corgi
no.
dog. Little corgi dog there. These are fabulous because they've got the twin wicks that are going to burn easily, as you see from our example there. Scentless, no dripping, also no smoke from these, which I also like. They just add a little bit of ambiance.
Yeah,
and I think they're
great.
also a really fun stocking stuffer or a gift to plop into a card for somebody.
Really cute along a table.
So pretty along a table. So they're really nice decor. We've got all of their new holiday patterns, $9 with our deal.
Amazing.
Okay,
Ooh,
another
glassware.
favorite, the Queen's Jewel. crystals. Sal and Leslie love when I bring this each year because these are all hand adorned. So look at the level of detail. That's not a painted on design. That is all like
making me
hand
thirsty.
adorned crystals. So we've got the stemmed and the stemless options. Look at how beautiful this cardinal's gorgeous. But I've got Hanukkah options, holiday options,
they're
Christmas
great, Tori.
options. This
The cardinal is
so
my
beautiful.
favorite.
It's so pretty. And then we've got their limited edition picks. All these are beautiful. The whole set, again, the hand adorned
Really
picks.
great.
These are fabulous. All slash in half today. The prices start at $15.
Oh, come on.
This is a really fun, woman-owned, fabulous company. They take so much
Really
pride
special.
in their designs. And then
here's what
finally,
goes in those.
cork pops. Okay, I'll hold the bottle. You just press that on top.
I just
No,
press it.
Put your hand around
Oh,
here.
okay, you said press it.
No, but either
And
way,
then press.
and lift. Press and lift. There you go. There you go. You surprised even yourself. It's the easiest way to open a bottle of wine. No pulling, tugging. You like it, right? That's like it's kind of addictive to be able to do that. It does it so simply for you. It's that one cartridge works on about
And then
60
how do you
to
get it
80
out to,
bottles. I'll show you how you get that out after. It's got a sharp needle, so you want to be careful removing that
Not
cork.
for TV.
Not for TV. We've got all of their wine accessories all slashed in half.
Wow, you
So
really
fun.
nailed it,
The
as you
openers,
always do.
great hostess
Really
gift.
fun. All right, thank you, Tori. Thank you to the companies that gave us these great deals. You can get them and some bonus deals on our website, goodmorningamerica.com. I love those ornaments. Okay, everybody, coming up, a very special surprise for an inspiring family on Good Morning America.
Welcome back, everybody. And we have a truly extraordinary college football player with us here today. Academics and athletics are hard enough, but after losing his mom, Amarion Smith, well, he took on the responsibility of being a legal guardian for his four siblings. And here is his story. Michigan State defensive back Amarion Smith embodies strength on and off the field. The 21-year-old criminal justice major and his 5 younger siblings lost their mother to breast cancer less than 3 months ago.
My mom was very strong, very hardworking. She stood on morals, principles. She was my protector. She was an amazing woman.
Fulfilling the promise he made to his mother, Gayla, before she passed away, Smith has become legal guardian to his 4 youngest siblings. 16-year-old Armand, 15-year-old Yvonne, 11-year-old Ariel, and 3-year-old Amira.
If I don't step up, who can they turn to? I'm just happy we all together. It's the biggest thing. I'm gonna be their protector.
While he manages 12-hour days on campus, 19-year-old sister Aleon helps at home.
He's a good man. He's doing right by us. And I've gained a lot of respect for him because he stepped up and did something that none of our fathers could. No tap.
No tap.
The family relying on donations from a GoFundMe to pay the bills and get them around without a car. While losing their mother hasn't been easy, they all agree Amarion has stepped up when they needed him most.
No matter what I do, he always trying to make sure I'm going in the right direction always.
Whether it's advice for the classroom or the football field.
Taught me everything, how to tackle, how to run the ball, all that.
I always looked at Maury as a role model too, because when he went to college, I was gonna go to college too. He taught me how to do math. I'm good at it now, real good.
And creating happy memories for the youngest. He says it's their mother's voice encouraging him to keep going.
She's still here in spirit. All the blessings we've been having, it's like all the stuff she ever wanted. She just working miracles.
Amarion is here with his brother Armand, and we know your siblings. They're all at home. They're all watching, so let's wave to them. Hello, siblings.
Hey,
yes, hello, everybody.
Miss you guys so much. Most definitely.
Yeah, all of you have such an incredible bond, especially after such a hard year. And I got to say, it's so inspiring for us to see this. And this is your first time in New York City. So what do you think? We came down here. You said this reminds you of being at your grandmother's house, except for now you're actually on that TV that you used to watch.
Yeah, waking up early mornings on the weekend or whatnot, weekdays, Good Morning America, my grandma watched the news, so, it just automatically pops up on her TV, and then, like, being able to be here and all, it's just different, man. It's a blessing, very exciting.
Well, we're blessed to have you here with us, and we want to celebrate the love and the bond that you and your siblings you have with each other. So we got a little surprise for you. We have some friends at Cash App. and they wanted to help set up you guys for the future. So they are giving you a check for $40,000. Is that going to help you guys?
Yeah, most definitely, man. This is a blessing. I want to thank Cash App for, donating this to us. Everything helps. It takes a village. So thank you so much.
But we also know the first time it's being in New York. You're really excited. We're excited for the two of you. We're excited for your siblings who are at home watching. So we have another surprise for you because we know there's so much going on. There's so much stress, so much everything. So our friends at Disneyland Resort, they saw your story. And they wanted to give you a vacation to Disneyland.
Are you serious?
I'm serious about that. You're going to stay at a Disney Resort Hotel. You're going to get to experience Disneyland Park, Disney California Adventure, and you can ride the new Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That's the new ride there. You get a chance to watch that, which is opening next week. Wow. All right, so just in time for you. And you just got your driver's license, I heard.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. How do you get around right now?
It's kind of hard, but not really. I pay for Ubers a lot. I'm trying to cut back on that, because it's taking a lot of my money. And then
I can imagine that.
I try to, I got teammates or whatnot, that look out for me. So yeah,
you got some good support there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of support there. There's people that's around, in the Spartan community that helps out as well. So yeah, shout out to everybody that's been helping. It's a blessing. Thank you so much.
Well, you're on GMA, right? Reminds you of growing up with your grandmother and all this stuff. And I got something else. Come on, man. Come on with me.
Oh, I'm following you.
Come on, follow me.
Okay.
Follow me. Let's go. We're going to go outside for a second because, oh, man, we know you spend so much on Ubers that we got one last surprise for you. Our friends, right? We reached out to our friends, our Detroit GMC dealers. And they decided that they wanted to give you this GMC Acadia. That's yours, my friend. That's yours, man.
Get your family around.
That's crazy, bro. What, man?
Oh, you can get in it. Go ahead and get in it, man. This is yours.
What? Oh.
Yes. Come on, hey, go your shotgun. Your shotgun.
What?
So how you feeling, man?
Man, there's not enough words in the world to explain. I don't know, I'm just feeling I feel love, man. This is ridiculous, man.
Well, we saw your story. You say you feel the love. We see the love that you show to your siblings and to everybody every day.
Sure.
So you're an inspiration to all of us. All of you are. You and your whole family. I know your siblings are watching. So we just wanted to help you guys as much as we can. And thank you to Disneyland, Cash App, and GMC. We were able to do that.
Thank you guys so much, man. This is a blessing, man. I wonder what my mom would be doing right now at this moment.
Well, we know your mom's proud of you. As you said in that piece, your mom is always with you.
Most definitely.
All right, and we're behind you, 100% of the way, man. Woo! All right. You know what? We appreciate these two so much. We love this story. Now let's go to Ginger.
Yes.
Wow. It's yours, man.
Crazy, man.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania not only had their warmest election day on record, but the hottest day this late in the year on record, 81 degrees. Just remarkable to see. And Tallahassee, Rochester, New York tied their warmest November temperatures on record, nearly 90 degrees there in Tallahassee. This is going to keep moving east today. We should see dozens of daily records fall, all the way from Portland, Maine to Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and back to Jackson, Mississippi. This trend continues next week, and much of November east of the Rockies stays above average. That's the big picture. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
Good morning, Kentucky. We are definitely seeing the rainfall this morning, where temperatures are going to be above normal for this time of the year, but we are going to be managing to see most of our rain in the morning hours. A couple of showers cannot be ruled out. Through the afternoon today, more weekend rain. Plan on that.
All right, coming up, cookbook author Dan Pashman is here to take our $20 dinner challenge. Here are your groceries.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. $20.
There you go.
That works out.
Good deal. Yeah.
Let's go. On GMA. We are back now with our $20 dinner challenge. Very excited about this. We asked some of our favorite chefs to come on and come up with a dinner for four that costs under $20. That's amazing. All right, so Dan Pashman's here. He's the author of the cookbook, Anything's Possible. And the host of one of my favorite podcasts on SiriusXM, The Sporkful. I just want to say those names. They're so fun. So tell us, Dan, what are we making?
We're going to be making a zucchini and feta cheese pasta. We're going to do a side salad with garlic bread, breadcrumbs. We're using a bunch of pantry staples to make it super easy.
All right, I love that. Okay, let's take a look at the shopping list. Bring it up there, Gail. So there's okay, we got zucchini, fusilli, lemon, feta cheese, romaine, chicken breast. 1937,
yes,
you made it.
I did it.
With a little spare change, I might add.
Yeah.
All right, so what makes this a great option? Why is this such an affordable meal?
Well, first of all, we're using a lot of pantry staples, stuff people already have in their home. So you got breadcrumbs, you got garlic powder, you got butter and olive oil. These are things that everybody already has.
Right.
And so that's going to bring down your costs. And my cookbook's all about non-traditional pasta dishes, and this is one of them. And pasta's a great staple that isn't too expensive and feeds a lot of people.
And people are really digging feta in pasta.
That's right.
And
A little
it's a great
tangy, it's
sneaky
creamy,
way.
it's so good.
It's protein, which is so, all the rage these days.
Right.
All right, so let's start with our main course, which is that zucchini pasta.
That's right. So we're going to make a garlic bread pan grattato. That's seasoned toasted breadcrumbs.
Okay.
It's very common in Italy. It adds texture and flavor, whatever you sprinkle it on.
And you're taking something in your pantry and you're making it taste gourmet by what you do right here, which is really easy. Trust me.
That's exactly right, Laura. And what we're doing here is these breadcrumbs are going to taste just like the garlic bread you love from the red sauce joint. They're going to have that fresh garlic and garlic powder. We're going to toast it up. It's going to get toasty and delicious.
And we'll tell you how much of the garlic. Don't worry about
the recipe online and in my cookbook. But we're going to use this in both the salad and the entree. All right, wait till you see how this works.
So you're not going to have that. It's not going to be too bready. The zucchini can be tricky because it can go wrong. What's your secret for cooking zucchini?
Yeah, so first of all, it's inspired by a dish in Italy called spaghetti alla Nerano. Very popular.
Oh, I love it. I know it.
You know that one? All right, you know,
that.
yes. So we're going to fry up the zucchini till it gets nice and golden brown.
Dish.
Yeah, it's so good. It gets a great flavor. And then what you want to do is take about a third of that zucchini out and you're going to put it into a blender. So this is another way that we're thickening the sauce, we're flavoring the sauce while using the zucchini in two ways.
It smells so
good. All right,
good,
we're going to add some lemon juice in here. You want to throw in the butter for me? Or that's lemon zest.
Much safer.
Oh, I'll do the butter.
You can
there
see
we go.
This is going really well.
Right,
Very smooth. All right, so when you do all that, it comes out looking like this.
Exactly, right. Nice, thick. And this is also a great way to sneak zucchini into your sauce. Get it past your kids. The zucchini is in the sauce. We're going to dump it in here. All right. It's full of flavor. It's got that lemoniness. It's bright. It's acidic, but it's also rich and creamy.
And speaking of protein and filling your family up, we've got some chicken in here for protein.
That's right. You cook the chicken separately. You add that in, and what that's going to do is going to add protein. It's going to add flavor. I mean, you could feed a lot of people with this dish.
This is actually looking very possible for tonight's entree.
That's right. And when you puree the zucchini, it makes the sauce richer. It feels decadent, but it actually has very little butter, very little. There's no cream. It's going to feel like a cream sauce without cream.
I don't know why I thought it was a red sauce, but clearly it's not.
Right. Well, my cookbook's all about non-traditional pasta sauces. We all fall into that red sauce rut.
Yeah, we sure do.
All right, but there's so much more you can and should be putting on pasta.
Yep, I agree. And you like fusilli? Why?
Well, because first of all, it's fun. This is fusilli lunghi bucati. This is a special shape, but there's a lot of great shapes out there. Regular fusilli works too. It holds a ton of sauce inside that spiral. It stays on your fork, and it's fun to sink your teeth into.
All right, I love it. So anything else we need to know about the pasta before we move on to the salad?
I mean, look, it's going to come together super easy. It's got a ton of flavor. To me, it's about the balance between the creaminess of the butter and the tanginess of the feta cheese, and then the lemon juice and all those things together. It's just firing on all cylinders.
I do have one quick question.
Yeah.
With the zucchini, so we've cooked it, then we've pureed some, we put it back in. Can you overdo it with the simmer? On the zucchini?
You don't want to burn it. You got to keep an eye out. You follow the recipe. The recipe will hold your hand. You're going to be fine.
All right.
But you reserve some of that golden brown fried zucchini. You put it on top to add some color.
Yeah.
Pop of color. It looks beautiful.
And a different texture.
Yeah. And then let's get down here.
Because we have about 35 seconds,
right,
and I want to show everybody this salad because it's delish.
So this is a very basic lemon vinaigrette, lemon juice, olive oil, salt, pepper, whisk it together. But here's my big move, Laura, and I want to make a big point here. I got a hot take for you.
Okay.
Breadcrumbs are better than croutons.
They are.
All right,
they really are.
You try to stab a crouton on a fork. It shatters. You can't do it, okay?
And this is just...
Then it dominates the bite, but when you sprinkle breadcrumbs on top,
really
the dressing makes them stick to the lettuce. They are infused throughout the bite. You get good flavor. You get texture everywhere.
All right. And then on the salad, it's just those 3 ingredients?
That's right, and the breadcrumbs stick on there nicely, and then you sprinkle that on the pasta as well, which adds crisp and textures. You get the chewy pasta. You get the crispy breadcrumbs. You sprinkle some feta cheese on top. You get that tang. It's got it all.
Dan, you nailed it. And for $19.37, we're feeding a family of 4. I'm doing it tonight. Thank you, Dan.
I'll be there.
Guys, you can get this you're invited. You can get these recipes on GoodMorningAmerica.com and Dan's cookbook. It's fantastic. It's called Anything's Possible. It's out now. We'll be right back on Good Morning America. That was fun. I'm going to eat.
All right, do it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Grace McKenna. Here are some of your morning headlines. A proposed amendment to the Kentucky State Constitution has passed. Amendment 1 will add language firmly prohibiting non-U.S. citizens from voting in Kentucky elections. However, Kentuckians resoundingly denied Amendment 2, with 65% of you voting no. That amendment would have allowed lawmakers to direct public funds to private schools. And Indiana House of Representatives District 71 incumbent Wendy Dant Chesser will keep her seat, beating challenger Scott Hawkins. The district covers Clarksville, Jeffersonville, and parts of Floyd County. Dant Chesser attacked Hawkins in multiple campaign ads for accepting donations from former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll, who is now in jail for fraud. You can review all of the election results in Kentucky and Indiana. There are a lot of them. It's at WHAS11.com and in our news app.
Good morning, Kentucky, and we're actually picking up some showers moving through. They're drifting through from west to east, and waking up so far. Most of our rain is found off to the east of us. East of Louisville and east of I-65 is where most of the heavier showers are. We have some scattered showers over New Albany, Valley Station right now, and down to the south along the western Kentucky and Bluegrass Parkways, Elizabethtown to Hodgenville, north of Springfield. That's where some of the heavier pockets of rainfall are as we speak. So the good news is, out of this, the rainfall did impact us after the election, so it did make for some nice weather to get to the polls yesterday. We're going to be quiet this afternoon, though, and temperatures should be making the way only in the low 70s in Louisville. Will be as dry tomorrow afternoon as today.